Hello and welcome. We are Tabletop Anthologies, and this is Star Trek Adventures. I would like to do a quick round robin. Welcome Commander Gregory Maricadi to the show. The man, the myth, the legend.
Formal welcome? Yeah, hey, how's it going?
Good.
Glad to be here.
Commander Kullat, our Vulcan science officer.
Salutations.
There we go. And Lieutenant Commander Zemp Thrall, who's on Conn.
Greetings.
In engineering, our Chief Engineering Officer, Lieutenant Commander Kaval, our Andorian.
Thank you, Pinkskins. I am aware this is a great honor for you.
And our Chief Medical Officer, Lieutenant Junior Grade Andal Grax, our Betazoid.
Hello. It's wonderful to be here.
We left off in sickbay, outside in orbit of a planet called Pedra. It is a planet that has not reached warp, which means it's a pre-warp civilization, so they have to tiptoe around. We found out that this was the source of our idol, and upon scans, they noticed that during the day there's lots of traffic to the temple-like structure, and then at night it looks like there are a couple roving subjects, humans, whatever they are. As I stated, we ended in sickbay, where our doctor had just finished transforming several of our officers to look like the Pedra citizens. And that's where we'll pick up, gentlemen and ladies.
I'm standing by in the engineering room, the transporter room, to beam them out if things get hairy.
Okay, yeah, we're doing that first.
To watch from above.
Awesome. Do you want to do the ship rolls then, since you're up on the ship?
Sure.
Okay, cool. I can do either way, but I think that makes more sense. All right. Before we go, Commander Kullat, just to be clear, we're in disguise, right? We already got to get our disguises ready to go and everything.
Yeah, so you replicated.
Right.
You replicated the outfits, and you got them all tore up to look like the citizens, and then your medical officer kind of used his, what do you want to call it? The dermal regenerator to kind of get the forehead look of the citizens.
Right.
So your medical officer has made you a citizen of Pedra.
So speaking of that forehead, could you remind me what we look like? I'd love to visualize it.
Yes, and let me find.
That's what I was going to ask Kullat to do, but so if you want to do it that way, either way.
Okay. I need to find where I put that. Mama. Mama.
At this point, I'm calibrating my phaser, making sure it's situated properly. Looks like it's got a nice little charge. I look over to my team coming down with me on the away team. I spot Andal. I look him up and down. He looks pretty handsome, I would say, from my surmise. Andal, be careful. I just want to remind you that you can't take anybody back with you. So don't go falling in love.
Yes, of course not, Commander.
I'm sure if you're reading me, obviously you could tell this is in complete jest, to lighten the mood. Thrall, damn it, I'm not gonna say anything to you actually, because you're gonna get mad at me. So I look at you for a second, yeah, and then let me know if you notice any disturbances in your horns. Mm-hmm.
Of course, Commander. And I'll just be grabbing my amenities and calibrating my tricorder and making sure everything's in order as well.
Ideally, I don't have to use this. But we don't know what kind of attitudes we're going to get from these people down here, or if they'll even know that we are, not a part of them.
Commander, is it wise to bring phasers with us? What if they discover them?
If at that point they discover the phasers that we have, the phaser that I have, our mission would have already been incomplete. We were bringing a tricorder. The amount of equipment we have already is enough risk as it is. Ideally, we get in without being noticed by anyone, but.
Okay, so it's gonna just be you, Andal, and Zemp, correct?
I believe so. Yeah,
Okay.
Engineering and the science team are fully staffed today.
Engineering.
Are we going to?
Go ahead.
Are we going to take the idol down with us, or are we just doing a scouting mission? I'm trying to remember what the objective was.
Yeah.
Well,
I believe this was a preliminary.
One more day, or one more night until we have to leave this place.
Yeah, you at least have 24 hours. Yes.
Okay. I believe this was a preliminary sweep, getting a general overview of what's going on from the ground, seeing their paths, how the guards work and operate. Basically confirming and having more data to support our initial findings with the scans and the drones that we sent down. I think we wanted to.
We were trying to figure out whether or not the idol would be good to put back. Whether or not we should do more harm.
It fits into another machine of some sort.
Right.
So if you guys will at least get some scans of that.
Right. We need some details on that, so we need to get
See if we
inside.
can figure out what it does when attached.
Right.
All right.
Do you want me to rehash what you found with the long-range probe real quick, just so you remember?
Sure.
Okay.
That'd be helpful.
So when it watched during the day, the focus was kind of around this stone structure or possible temple. You noticed during the day that there was heavy foot traffic at that temple. Other than that, everybody kind of milling about. The area looked run down. The fields, they look dry and unkempt, like nothing's growing or nothing's able to be grown. The citizens, they just look worn down. Their clothing is ragged. They don't look happy. At night, you noticed that there was no foot traffic other than 2 individuals at the temple. That there was no discernible pattern to the way they walked the grounds.
Okay.
Both inside and outside the place.
Okay. And the place itself, it's like that castle, right? Like it's tall castle.
Yeah, it's just a large.
Ish.
All you know is it looks like a large stone structure, possibly like a temple.
Okay, sure. What maybe like the centerpiece, like what a feudal lord would live in, if it was translated to dark Middle Ages.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, of Numenorian make.
Numenorian. Oh dear, we go down there and we're playing D&D 5e, guys. All right. So, before we head down, are there any questions? Yeah. No. Very good. 3 to beam down.
3 to beam down. Oh, sorry. Are you guys taking anything with you?
Clothes. I have a phaser, and we have a tricorder.
Okay.
I believe
Grax?
that's all we have.
I'll take my communications device and.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys
for
can
sure.
conceal that underneath your wardrobe easily.
Okay.
Great.
Some trail mix.
I don't think I'm going to take anything else unless the commander tells me to.
No, I mean I'm the only one that's comfortable with the gun. Can I hide the gun in any way though? Does somebody just see me have a phaser on my hip or?
Yeah, I'd assume you could fashion something to hide
Right,
it,
either
whether
like
it's
in
like
here
under
or-
a robe
yeah.
or. Yeah, I think that could easily be
That's what
something
I'll
you'd
do.
replicate.
It'll be over here. Yeah,
And the
it'll be
idol-
like I'm wearing
And the idol is staying on the ship in the containment field,
Correct.
correct?
Yeah, we are not touching that thing until we know for sure we can hook this thing up without any incident, basically.
Zemp, what about you?
No, I'm following suit. I'll be taking my clothes, my phaser, my tricorder, and my communications device.
Okay.
That would be all.
And Kullat. I know Kaval's watching on transporter, and he's gonna try and remain to keep a lock on them if they need it. And what are you gonna be doing, Kullat?
Watching scans from above, I guess.
Commander
Anything
Kullat.
specific?
Looking at readings for anything anomalous, anything that changes in what's currently taking place.
Commander Kullat, if I may. I will
Go
be
ahead.
able to maintain a lock. I will do my utmost to maintain a lock, but I won't actually know whether they need to be beamed back up again. I will need you to keep me advised of their situation.
Nice.
I can stay on
Nice.
communications.
We still have that drone, right? So, Kullat, if things start to get hairy, you lose communication from us. Use that drone to get eyes on us if possible.
Okay, sorry, I had to mute something. All right, so we're ready to go. The three of you are going to beam down, and the other two are going to do Overwatch with the captain. And he actually meets you in the transporter room, and he approaches each of you, and he says, "I understand that you're taking some devices down. I don't think I need to reiterate how important it is you maintain those at all times, and you don't lose them or let them be seen. Let's make this quick and easy and not messy. Understood,
Of course,
Gregory?"
Captain.
Break!
Yes. Thank you.
All right, everybody in. 1, 2, 3, go Ducks. Okay. All right.
Surprise!
Kaval, I'm going to need a control and engineering difficulty 2. And Kullat, since you are on the ship, I'm going to need a sensors and engineering roll. Remember how to get there?
Is it perform task or perform challenge? Sorry, it's perform task, right?
It is perform task, sir.
Got it.
Okay.
And remind me again, is it high or low that I'm shooting for? Low, right?
You want to go low, so you want to reach your target number or below. And your target number is both your attribute and your discipline.
Right, which is 17, so I was good.
And then your
It's two-
focuses do other things stuff too. So if you guys need any refreshers, just holler, we'll do it.
Yes,
Okay.
I also have transporter as a focus. Transporters and replicators, sorry.
Okay. Do you want to include it? You don't need to because you're going to be successful. So, okay. All right.
We beamed.
You beamed. Hold 1 second, please. Hold 1 second.
Where's the sound effect? I was
You
told
didn't
there'd
hear
be
it?
sound
Wait.
effects.
You didn't hear it?
Wait, we said 3 to beam down. Why is there 4?
So they can be part of the scene, Mr.
I don't want them to see anything. I
you
want them
go.
to watch a black
Wait,
screen
wait.
the whole
I
time.
want to hear the beam. I want to hear the transporters.
Okay.
Did you hear it?
Oh, nice. Nice.
There you are. All right. So let me get some things set up real quick before you guys start wandering around planet side.
They're like our guardian angels.
They are. Okay. Music's up. Music is up.
Oh, if you right-click yourself, you can change your transparency or opacity. I don't know how to pronounce it. Opacity.
Opacity.
You make yourself look like a little ghost. I'm just saying. Just saying.
All right.
Okay.
So
Wait a second. What am I doing there? I don't want to be there. Sorry.
Yeah,
You're there just so you can see the map.
So
How's
adjust
that?
your opacity.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Just-
adjust your
oh, yeah,
opacity.
Just so you can be part of the team.
Yep. Make yourself
How's
a little ghosty
Which
goo.
one? Which one is it?
Oh, right click
Right
the little
click.
gear on the left.
Gear, and then go to appearance and
Yep.
token opacity.
Thanks.
Don't go nude. Just opacity. All
Is
right.
that- No.
Okay. I'll switch to our map.
Is it changing at all?
You
Oh, you have to
hit
click update token.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Oh, he's a
Oh,
ghost.
cool.
Ooh. Okay, so you have beamed down to the planet's surface. All around you, there seems to be a lot of coming and going of the Pedra citizens. You have beamed out. I'm putting you on the temple, but I'm going to say you've kind of beamed out a little bit on the outskirts where there's been nobody to be seen or to see you.
Okay, good.
I assume what you guys are going to do is go to directly towards the temple itself.
Yeah, absolutely. That's our objective. Head down low, eyes forward, keeping casual. Loose organization to us.
Okay. So as you approach the large stone structure, you notice it's quite round and awkward in shape. It is built up by heavy, large stones. It's surrounded all by water, so there's only seems to be 3 paths to get to. 2 in the front with the 2 main stairs that kind of cascade up, and then there is also 1 path in the back. Outside of the temple is a large statuesque that's floating in the middle, and it also has the same rigid features on the forehead as the citizens themselves. And off to the right are bluish colored flames that are going even in the daylight. And that is where we're at. So you guys make it to the front of the steps.
The organization of these people, they're tight and they're close, or are they like herds? Like herds of animals kind of moving through each one? Like how do they structure themselves? Like, basically I'm looking for like how does this culture fit in with itself, you know, so that we can mimic it the best way possible while we're walking through.
Generally, for the foot traffic that goes towards the temple, it seems to be brisk. They all look almost depressed, but they're hopeful as they hit the area where you can really fully see the temple. Their eyes kind of light up with hope. In terms of walking around and any special filing in or out or anything like that, it's just normal traffic. People passing by each other, going in and going out. There's no special thing that you see them doing outside of the temple that you feel like you might have to do to fit in.
That makes sense. Thank you for specifying.
Do we understand their language?
Your universal your
translator.
communicators will translate for you.
We have that on. Okay.
Unless they speak in parables.
Alright. Is there a plaque on the statue?
What's that?
Is there a plaque on the statue? Like
Nope.
dictating the name or where this is? Okay.
No.
Alright, guys, stay close. I would say, you know, spread out, but the game's paused, so I can't move.
What?
There's an overwhelming sense of depression and despair here.
Yes, I feel that. I feel that too. These people are ruined after the loss. Let's hope this temple has some knowledge to help fill in the gaps here.
Wait, you think this is related to the idol? To the
Out of game. Yeah.
Oh, come on! Much on that.
Well, are you talking to me, a communicator, or are you mentally probing me?
Sorry, sir. Carry on, sir.
Sorry, sir. Let's see here. I see people going in and out of the temple, right?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Do they freely enter, or is someone like giving them permission to go in?
No, so as you guys approach the steps, it looks like a monk or divine person in all robes is kind of standing at the door, greeting people as they come in. But there doesn't seem to be any sort of special like request or nature that they need to get in to, like, you know what I mean, like asking permission to come in or anything like that. You don't see anything like that.
Okay. So I approach the door. I kind of see if the monk looks at me, like, in the face as I approach.
It does. She does.
Okay. She does.
And she kind of nods to you and says,
Yep.
"Welcome, brother."
I bow. I say, "Thank you, sister."
She looks at you,
And
and then
oh.
and she just kind of turns away.
Hey, Tony,
What's up?
you want to tell me why there's a statue of you here looking at me like I owe it something?
What are you? Hang on, okay. It wasn't me, all right. I was just. That's funny.
Come on, you gotta
One to
admit.
the right's Obi-Wan.
Come on, you gotta admit, the one on the left kind of looks like.
So as you
I
walk
agree.
in,
I agree.
as you walk in, there are large pillars that adorn the sides with what look like statues of maybe icons, maybe religious icons. They decorate the front of the room. Under the carved icons is an empty pillar, or an empty altar, excuse me. Surrounded by the empty altar, and then kind of spread out in the room, are these glowing orb-like lights. They kind of provide a bluish light to it, and there's a hint of incense in the air, burning from somewhere, or something like incense. And when you get in, it's extremely quiet. There's nobody talking, nobody saying anything. You're seeing these citizens walk up to where the altar is. They kind of stand there for moments, bow their heads, and they turn to walk and leave. There is a monk at the entrance also that nods to you as you walk in, and everybody who's in there, they look at you, but they don't make any sort of communication or attempt of. They just kind of look at you in a glance and keep walking.
I'd like to investigate one of these lights over here, but try to not make it obvious.
How do you want to do that? Like, it's kind of show me an example.
Probably
So
just-
your
probably
tricorder
just have
kind of
my
looks
head-
like a unfoldable.
I
Flip
don't
phone.
even have I don't even have one on me. I'm just visually investigating it mostly. Just approaching it, kind of have my head bowed a little bit, just looking around, making sure no one's really keeping an eye on me as I approach it, and maybe lean down a little bit closer, get a better look at it.
Okay. Give me a insight and science roll. Difficulty 2. Okay. So to you, it just kind of looks like almost a glass orb, just with a bluish light to it.
Okay.
I grab Thrall while Andal's looking at that light. I just did not grab him. I just put my hand on his shoulder, and then motion to this back area over here. I can't ping, maybe? I'm going over here.
Yeah, I don't have the ping ability for some reason.
Oh, no worries. I look at Thrall. I look at the altar. I look back at him, and then I start to approach slowly. And I want him to stay close and get a reading of this altar up close with this tricorder. So I'm trying my best to communicate that, probably with hand signals. I'm not saying anything though, because no one else is talking.
Okay. And just prior to
get a
you
reading
doing
over
that,
here.
you do have 2 Hedra citizens standing next to you.
Okay.
Are you
So
waiting,
I'll just-
or you?
I am. I'm waiting. I'm looking at Thrall like on my lead, and I wait. I'm bowing my head down in respect. You know.
Admiral, just a routine
Looking
check.
solemn.
Do I still have a lock inside the structure?
Control and engineering D2.
See a chip help for that?
Yes, same one. For you, it's
Sensors.
sensors and engineering.
Nice.
And the answer is?
Solid lock. No issues. No issues whatsoever.
Any readings on the temple that aren't baseline for what we've already been observing?
Okay. Yeah, we can do a quick switch real quick since you guys are asking some questions. Ask it again, please.
I've been watching sensors on the temple. Any readings that aren't what we've observed as the baseline?
Do me a reason and science. And for ship systems, we'll do sensors and science.
I don't like that noise.
Okay. You want to do anything with that complication?
Oh. Is our momentum up to date?
Yeah, you have. Where am I at? You have 8.
Or do I have to generate momentum in order to absorb a complication?
you can use 2 to get rid of it.
I'll use 2 to get rid of that.
Okay, you're down to 6. So as far as you can tell, there is nothing that has changed.
Cappy.
Okay.
So, on the altar itself, I look back at Andal, see if he's still looking at the light.
No, at this point, I'd be observing all the people around us.
Alright, so then I look at Andal, I look at the altar, and then I look back at Thrall, and I begin to motion over. As long as no one's coming up to the altar.
No, the male, if that's what you want to call him, has just left himself. The only people that remain is there's one gentleman in the corner that's just kind of standing there, and then you have the 2 monks, one at the top of the room and the one at the door. And the one at the door seems to be focused at the door. The one at the top of the room does kind of scan the room sometimes.
Is there any sort of religious greeting or something like that we've heard other than just what they said at the door?
So,
Like, I don't want to walk up to this monk and say the wrong thing right off the bat.
Hello. What?
yes, so, okay. Well, actually, why don't you do me an insight and security difficulty 2, and I'll tell you if you've heard anything. you may have heard words about something that sounds like Dathu, but you haven't heard anything specifically.
Okay.
And I'll allow others to do the same role since they were with you.
Don't have to tell me twice.
Okay. So, Commander, what you heard that Andal might not have, just as you were entering and one of the Pedra citizens were leaving, you heard the monk say, "May the Clendathu protect you and absolve you of your curses and afflictions."
The what? What's the name?
May the Clendathu protect you and absolve you of your curses and afflictions.
Cool, thanks.
And Zemp, you heard the door open.
Oh.
Oh,
Well, when the commander motions towards the altar for me, I would start walking towards it.
Yeah, I assume we're really tight on each other, and I'm going to almost hide his tricorder that he's about to pull out and scan this altar.
explain to me how you're going to do that.
Okay, so we have our coats on, right? We got these big bulky coats, like when I have to hide my gun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide like my arm, like I'm just around his shoulder, like we're crying in sorrow. Then I'm gonna put my other arm up, like I'm getting sad, like I'm about to cry, or I'm just ashamed. And this motion here is going to be for him to pull his little hand out to basically be parallel with my elbow and scan this altar in the cover of me sulking, so to speak.
I have an average size hand, Commander, but yes, that is what we're doing.
Sorry.
All right. So what we're gonna do two rolls here. First, we're gonna have Zemp. You're scanning the device or the altar, correct?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna do a reason in science with a difficulty 2.
Use the momentum if you need to. I just noticed what you're at with that. And don't forget, composure works in this case. Just let you know. We have our focuses.
You 2 focuses. You do.
Yep. So I think it would
Maybe 2
probably
momentum.
be a good idea too.
Well, you're 7-1, so I think that's the lowest you can get. Yeah, I think you have the lowest possible thing here, so.
All right, yeah. We'll use a momentum.
Nice. Just enough.
Okay. And so now, Commander, you're gonna roll. Let's see. Ooh. You're gonna roll a fitness and security.
Okay, cool. Holy shit! All right.
So what are you doing with that mom? That
With
momentum.
that mom, I'm going to carry this show, I guess, the act that we're doing here, a little harder, so that our boy can get as much time with the altar as he needs to get as much information as we can.
Okay. I believe that's only going to cost you 1, and that's going to be considered creating an advantage. I'm gonna double check my stuff.
Yeah, if that's all the case, great.
Momentum. Nope, it is 2. So do you want to use both to do that?
Okay.
Okay.
100%.
100%.
100%.
All right. So we at here? Okay, so Andal, you scan this, and you're all actually you're able to do this without me. So explain to me how you're scanning this. Grax, or sorry, Zem.
Right. So, as the commander here is hiding my my hand in the tricorder, I will be bending down, almost in a respectful bowing motion, and as I do, I will sweep my wrist across the top of the altar, attempting to get as much of an area covered as I can.
Okay. So as you scan this device, it seems to have what you're looking at in front of you, between the two lights, is almost a square-like structure. It seems to be made of the same composite that the idol was when you guys initially did your scans. Almost gold. In the center of that idol looks to be like a square peg, like something might fit there. In terms of electronics, on the inside as well, it has the same mechanisms, but almost on what seems to be a grander scale that you can tell, at least in that spot. And it may extend somewhere else, it may not.
Very well. I place the tricorder back in my jacket, and I look to the commander.
Okay. I compose myself. Solemnly walk away from the altar. Bowing my head.
Is there anything else that stands out in here other than the like the sculptures and the altar?
No, there seems to be some chests in there. Unknown what those might entail. There are steps downstairs, off into the right corner. To your left is another possibly ornamental piece. It looks, the rock or the stand that it sits on looks like it's marble, but the orb or the ball-shaped spiky thing there on the left, it has it has a darkish hue to it, and the spikes, they look gold as well.
Am I able, just standing kind of by the wall here, able to see down the steps at all?
From where you're at, you just see it go into darkness.
Okay. I'm going to. Does it look like I have a moment where I can slip down into the steps, like the monk up front? I want to try and time it where they're not looking and take a couple steps down and get a look further down.
So you have the gentleman that's standing near you with his back to you, and you have the two monks, one at the entrance and one glancing around. And you said you want to try and move down the steps?
Yeah, when the monk up front isn't looking this direction.
Okay. Do me a daring and security, difficulty 3.
Nice. Target 8.
Okay. So, as you start
I
to
guess-
walk, what's that?
I was gonna say I should have added a momentum to that. I didn't think about it. I
Yeah, you
couldn't
should.
have passed it without one momentum.
D3. Fuck.
So, as you start to walk down those steps, the monk at the top of the room, she sees you, and she immediately rushes over to you and grabs your shoulder almost in a, you know, when the teacher catches you doing something you're not supposed to do, and that hand on the shoulder is a little more firm than it needs to be. It's the same as it is with you. And she's got a stern look on her face. She doesn't say anything, but
What feelings am I getting?
she has some
She's not mad, but she's disappointed.
really that's
So
about
Wow.
that's about where I was going, but there is also some confusion.
Okay.
Okay, and she is helping you with that firm grip to the door. Okay.
Okay.
Real quick.
I don't resist, and I just say, "Oh, my apologies."
And her eyes
I
get
try,
even.
I try to keep it big.
Her eyes get even bigger when you speak.
Okay.
So real quick, we're gonna cut to the ship boys, because I had them do a roll while you guys were doing your research.
We just lost Commander Kullat.
Oh, he did. You did.
Rest in peace. He got ejected.
He is
He got
taking
beamed
a
up
hydrosonic
in his face.
shower. He
Oh,
was
okay.
a little dirty. Vulcans tend to get those ears, that earwax. I think Zemp was showing some earwax earlier to us that we believe he took from the Vulcan's ears. I guess. So I'll at least start with you. Kaval. So you're still able to maintain your transporter lock. There seems to be some interference, but with your skills and abilities, it's almost like you can do it in your sleep. It's not a big deal. So you correct the issue, and you are still going forward. Give me 1 second here. So Hades, I switched over to the bridge crew and just described to Kaval that he still has maintained transporter lock. Would you like to do anything for the moment?
There was some interference, though, Kullat.
There was.
Did I pick up that interference with my scans?
What are you scanning?
Well, I've just kind of been broad range scanning
On
temple for-
the temple.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So go ahead and give me your reason in science and sensors in science with the ship.
This is separate from that role you already had me do.
Yeah, that first one was to assist Kaval, because you guys are on the ship, so you get to use the ship.
Oh, okay. I did a roll for both of us and a ship for both of us.
Oh, you did?
Okay, but you were just wanting the ship for him.
No. So you did do this. Oh, okay. I see. All right. Sorry. No,
Yeah, I got 3 with the ship's help.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, I missed it. Okay. So, down on the surface, it is business as usual. Nothing. No readings have changed. Nothing has changed. It all seems to be what it was, but even before they got down to the surface. So,
If I can do one more scan, I guess, while we're on us.
okay.
Can
Yeah,
I check
just-
specifically in the range of the effects of the idol? Anything in that spectrum?
So, like, are you referring to the wavelengths that the idol gave off? Are you looking for any that might be emanating from the temple itself?
Yeah, still focusing on the temple, but any readings of the same type that the idol exudes.
Yeah. So go ahead and give me a another reason and science roll, and for your ship, it will also be sensors and science.
Four.
So you are detecting no specific or special waves or wavelengths emanating from the temple or area surrounding. So that's including like the water that's surrounding the temple.
Okay. Can I bank? Well, I don't. You never told me what the thing is.
Oh, it was difficulty 2.
Can I bank those other 2 then?
Yep, you guys are back to 8. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, let's see here. As you were finishing up your scans, all of a sudden, on the ship, you guys receive a red alert. The captain stands up, and he turns to you, Kullat, and he says, "Report." So from you, sorry.
I look at my panels to see why it's going off.
Do me an insight and security, difficulty 1.
Oh wow, I suck at both of these. Should have added the momentum.
Close.
So you have detected, or you're getting reports from sickbay that the quarantine force field has fallen, and the idol seems to be affecting some things right now.
Captain, it appears our attempts at containing the idol have just given way, and its effects are now being felt in the localized area to it.
Understand, Commander. Let's see if we can figure out a way to get this thing back under protection here.
Immediately, Captain. And then I would be looking for a way to strengthen the field we had on it before to get it back under control.
Okay. So you're talking about like the force field itself?
Yeah, however we contained it originally, I'm trying to apply that with more force.
Okay. Real quick here. So go ahead and do a give me a control and security difficulty 2, but you need to change your complication range to let's see here. You're going to change your complication range to 3 total. And while you make that roll, let's see here.
I'd like to use the momentum.
Starboard nacelle
Okay.
not functional.
Go ahead.
Maximum available power 50%.
So you
I don't
can
add that anyway, right? Or does that count as a die?
that'll count as a dice. Okay, so as you're trying to possibly rotate the shield harmonics, you come into an issue where it seems that the idol has matched your ability to do that. And as you're doing that, there's an alert in engineering across the overheads, and she says, plasma overfill in these nacelles. Reaction imminent.
Can I leave it to the engineering team? Obviously, I don't want to leave my station and lose the lock, transporter lock.
If you want to leave it to them, yeah, let's do this then. So, find him. Let me find him. We'll use a supporting character. Operations. Okay, so from you, Kaval, then I'm gonna need. They're reporting to you. So, real quick, Lieutenant Kaval, this is engineering.
Go ahead.
The plasma seems to be overfilling into the warp nacelles. I don't know what happened.
Fix it, man. Fix it.
Understood, Lieutenant. We'll get on it right away.
Keep me posted.
We will. We will, sir.
Commander Kullat, come in, please.
Proceed.
Maybe now would be a good time for Commander and the away team to come back. We seem to be suffering some side effects in engineering. I don't know how long I can continue to maintain this lock.
Before we take on that risk, given our present circumstance, might I suggest that we warp the idol either somewhere in space far enough away from ourselves or to the planet's surface away from any civilization? Doing so might decrease the risk in a malfunction while transporting our team.
It's a valid point, Commander. If we could at least have them leave their current, alternatively, we could have the away team at least leave their current position, go to someplace a bit more secluded, in case we are unable to use the transporter room.
Agreed. Go ahead and send message.
So, all right. Lieutenant Kaval.
Standing by.
We're having
Lieutenant
trouble.
Commander, but Lieutenant's also good, I guess.
Sorry, sir. We'll get it. We'll get it right. There's a lot going down here in engineering. The plasma. We're having trouble venting it from the warp nacelles. We may need your assistance down here, sir.
All right, I'm on my way. Commander Kullat, this is Kaval.
Proceed.
I have to leave my station. I have to go down to the engineering. Is there an ensign in this room with me? In the transporter room with me?
Yeah, you can have somebody take over for you. Sure.
Okay, I leave it to them, and I rush down to engineering.
Okay, so once you get into engineering, there seems to be a lot of steam coming from the warp core, and the ensign runs up to you and he says, "Lieutenant Commander, we're like I said, we're having trouble venting the plasma. We're following proper Starfleet procedure, but the vents they won't open up."
Okay, let's see. I'm looking at my my talents.
Okay.
Can I use Miracle Worker on this? Repetition doing the possible.
Yes.
Repairs and modifications.
Click on the pip or the communicator to the left for me. We're not working on an extended task.
Okay.
I'll allow you to use it as almost like a Actually, I won't. You won't need to, because look at your focuses. You have warp field dynamics. That could probably
do.
be in play here.
Okay.
The
I also have
plasma and the nacelles are
electroplasma
all
power.
part of the thing. So
Yeah. Okay. Then I'm going to go for it. What difficulty level?
right now you're going to be at difficulty 3, and your
Sure of that.
complication range at 3, number 3 here.
Am I able to assist in any way from my station? I do have warp engines as a focus.
Oh!
If you explain to me how you're doing that, sure.
Look at that. Come on now.
Well, I guess I don't need to.
Okay. Okay.
I'm not going to risk a complication since I've already drawn 2.
So what happens is, actually, you tell me what happens, because you're able to vent the plasma from the ship, which calms the nacelles down and returns them to normal parameters.
I run over to the. I mean, you have to have the kind of experience I have, of course. I mean, when you've been around starships as long as I have, you know that underneath this counter here, there's a release valve. I mean, it's simple, but you know, you have to have the experience.
The ensign looks at you like, why weren't we trained on this?
It was part of your briefing. You obviously didn't retain the information, but that's okay. We'll get there. We'll get there in a second.
Okay. So we'll go back to Hades real quick. What are you doing,
Okay,
sir?
but I rush back up to the transporter room.
Okay.
If we're all good here in engineering.
You have
While he was
returned, yes.
While he was rushing off, I go ahead and communicate the message we were just talking about. So, Kullat to Commander Maricadi. Maricadi.
I don't know if we were able to talk yet. It depends on where we're at. Because
So, no, you guys-
if we're still in the temple,
You guys are
And you
just
got-
reaching. Well, you two are still standing there. Sev is politely being escorted out.
well, so noticing that he's getting escorted out, we're gonna follow suit, seeing that we got the readings that we needed.
Okay.
And then once I'm out of the room, I'll look at the monk and I'll say may the Kathee protect you and absolve you of your curses.
The monk at the entrance, she nods and goes back to looking at the rest of the crowd. The other one, with the firm grip on Andal's shoulder, escorts you to the door, kind of jerks you around in a little bit of a forceful manner, and she looks at you. She steps out the door, and the doors, they shut behind you. And she says very quietly, "Brother, you may not return to the temple for 1 week." And she doesn't say anything to you after that. She opens the door and seems to rush back inside.
And then the door's shut. I look at Andal. I just tell him to keep moving, and we're gonna go back to our safe spot. If he wants to talk to me in the meantime, sure. But otherwise, I'm waiting until we get to our around the area where we got beamed in at.
Okay, so, oops. Go ahead
Beam
and
down.
make your way out there, and as you reach the top of the steps from outside the door, your communicator goes off.
Kullat to Commander Maricadi.
Commander Kullat, go ahead.
Our attempts to suppress the idol have temporarily failed. It's our idea that it might be good for you, the away team, to get away from the immediate area you're in to somewhere more secluded in case we have issues transporting you back to ship.
You only hear that first part of that message, Commander. As you are all walking out in the sky, where you think your ship might be, there seems to be a giant, bright, bluish burst in the sky. Something maybe venting plasma might leave. and all of a sudden, the crowd around the temple, the monks, they all kind of rush to the edge. They all are standing there, and they're looking up, and people start to murmur. They start to murmur between themselves, and one of the Pedra citizens, they shout over the crowd, and they're like, "They're angry! Our idol! It's been missing! This is the end of times!" And that seems to cause a little bit of a extra commotion. And people start to do two things. They start to kind of push in towards the temple, while the monks kind of try to control the crowd from moving in.
Wait,
At the
so you
volume
said
that they're coming.
It looked like our ship got blown up?
No, so in the scene when we were on the ship, your engineer had to vent plasma to keep the warp nacelles from overloading and blowing up, and that tends to leave a giant blue fireball-looking thing around it. So that is what they observed in the sky.
Roger that. Okay. So I look at my team, and I tell them to keep moving. We're gonna get some pace and some distance away from whatever crowd we can do with. And once we're clear, we'll start to communicate. But I didn't hear all of that. I didn't hear that I needed to get safe. He just started talking, and then the plasma vents got started. I think.
Yeah, you basically got halfway through his conversation before it got overwhelmed by the commotion of what was just observed in the sky.
Okay. So then we get clear. I turn my communicator back on. Commander Kullat, this is Maricadi, the away team.
Proceed, Commander Maricadi.
We just saw a large burst of plasma. Looks like it came from an orbit. What's their status?
As I said, we're losing control on the idol. I believe that was Lieutenant Commander Tathok taking care of issues
Business
related to that.
Roger that. I assume it's all under control. So
for the moment, we would recommend that you go to an isolated area should we need to beam you out immediately.
Roger that. Commander Kullat, we're going to get isolated up.
You start to lose static in that communications.
Kullat, are you reading me?
That's what it sounds like, or even like an old McDonald's drive-thru.
Commander, you're going to need to go again with your order.
Commander,
the fryer is down,
so
Commander. The fryer is down.
Oh my gosh! It breaks up. Okay, fine. We're now going in death, so to speak. It sounds like we need to get to an isolated spot. Hopefully their drones can catch us as we've lost communication. We need to get back up to the ship as soon as possible. It looks like, according to my scans and where we're at now, I'd say a few clicks out that way should get us in a nice isolated spot. And I point into a direction.
Okay. While you guys are moving and leaving, Kaval, give me your transporter scans or your rolls, please.
What's the
It is control and engineering.
No, what's the complication range and the number of die?
Right now your complication range is 3.
Okay. Gotcha.
Wait, what are you transporting?
I'm checking my lock.
He's just checking to see if he still has a transporter lock on them.
Oh, okay.
I ordered some pizza earlier, Andorian.
It's being delivered by this great Ferengi vessel.
With Klingon mushrooms.
Oh.
Oh god.
That's right up Zemp's alley. Maybe it's being delivered by his girlfriend.
You have beautiful ridges.
Kullat, you gonna do the ship roll for your partner here?
If I have to. What is it?
Thanks.
Sensors and engineering.
Sensors in engineering.
Difficulty
Yeah.
3, or not difficulty 3. Complication range of number 3.
It's not fair.
Yes, it is.
See? That's why it's not fair.
You are able to maintain a lock, Kaval, but it's very difficult, and you're not able to maintain all 3 of them at the same time.
Oh yeah, we were given a bonus die, by the way.
Do you want to use it? I'll let you use it.
Do we have any idea where they are right now? I mean, as far as population density?
You're able to see them in the crowd, yes, or you're still able to track them
so
because
they're
of their
still-
communicators. You're just not able to lock onto all 3 of them at the same time. So basically, once you try and regain lock of another one, it pulls off of.
I guess what I
Come on.
was really considering was whether to just damn the torpedoes and just beam them out of there. But if they're right in the middle of a crowd, that probably isn't advisable.
Yeah, they were just at the steps of the temple when the commander and the commander were talking.
Gotcha.
So real quick, Hades, I'll let you use that dice if you want. And if you want.
My next suggested action is for Tathok.
Go on.
Oh. Lieutenant Commander, I recommend that we transport the idol somewhere secluded onto the planet's surface.
Do you have any specific location in mind, Commander?
I would
Have you-
look at this civilization's all in one spot, right? Do I remember that correctly? Like there's
Correct.
this city
Yeah,
and
it's
then
just
there's
like a
nothing
sprawling
else?
city, and the rest seems to be open land. Yep.
And I don't remember what it is, but didn't I have a range on the effects of the idol previously?
Yeah, 1 kilometer.
So I'd say, Lieutenant Commander Tathok, I'd recommend 1 kilometer, we'll call it north of the
Okay.
city.
Understood, Commander. Admiral, can I see any structures? Am I able to check anything like that?
Like as to where you're beaming it.
Yes.
Give me.
I'd rather
a,
not just beam it into the middle of a lake or anything like that. Or
Give me an insight and security.
insight,
Difficulty 2.
security,
Shipman,
22.
Kaval. You're gonna give me sensors and security.
Complication range is 3 again?
It's 3 again, sir. Yes.
Keeps defaulting down to 1. Is there anything I can use on this? Can I use my transporters and replicator focuses?
Yeah, certainly.
Okay. And roll. 7 and 8. That'll
Okay.
do it.
So as you're scanning along the open area where there is no life located, you find a perfect spot. Are you going
Then
to
beam this bastard out of there.
beam
out of the
this
sh-
beam this bastard out of there.
Out of the med bay.
So the idol disappears from the ship, the sick bay, and it gets beamed down to the surface, right where you wanted it. And at that point, the red alert, the readings from that side, there's no more issues. The ship seems to be functioning in its normal parameters. And as you're doing that, the captain looks to Kullat and he says, Commander, do we have a report?
I'm sorry, I got distracted there.
It's okay, Commander. I do that to many officers. Go on, though.
1-800-3 to beam up. Captain, we've beamed the idol to the planet's surface at a distance where it should not affect the city. It appears that everything up here is now copacetic with that effective range being away from us.
Understood. Commander, I want you to keep eyes on that idol at all times. Right now, we're responsible for it. I don't want that to fall into anyone else's hands, especially if they have large lobes.
Oh my gosh.
Copy, Captain.
Gentlemen on the surface.
Yeah, are you coming in clearly?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm switching back to you guys. What is it that you are doing?
Oh, okay. So, I'm just leading us to a spot with some distance. I'm constantly checking my communicator to see if we can reestablish connection.
Okay. As you guys start to leave the temple, and you're probably a good 50 to 100 feet away, you kind of start seeing the monks making attempts to calm the crowd down, and it looks like they might be saying some things. But other than that, the crowd halts at the steps, and they stand there. And eventually, you are able to get a clear signal with your communicator.
Okay. Commander Kullat, this is Commander Maricadi. We're at the safe location. We have 3 to beam up.
Copy, Commander. There has been a change in our situation up here. Things are better aboard because we have transported the idol down to the planet's surface at a distance away from the city that it should not be affected at this time. Have you gotten any readings in the temple? Do you believe that it is good to return the idol there?
We have a reading, but we have nothing conclusive yet. We'll talk more and correlate our data with what we've already acquired. So once we get to the ship, that is.
Okay. So,
Understood.
Caval?
Yeah, can I beam them back?
You can beam them back. So control and engineering, difficulty 2. Kullat, give me a sensors and engineering, please.
Nice. They all beam back with a margarita in their hands.
They all beam back.
Holy shit.
Why were there margaritas in the buffer? Who lost those earlier?
Sorry, I just saw your message, Andal, and if you want to ask him to do a quick sensors check, I can tell you what may or may not be going on in the temple before you guys beam back, or maybe as you're beaming back.
Sure. Yeah. So I'd come over the communications. Is there anyone up there that's watching the sensors able to see what's happening in the temple right now? When we left, there was a commotion. Temple may be empty currently, and we could beam the idol directly there.
Understood. I will check sensors.
So, Commander Kullat, I need you to do a reason in science and a sensors in science roll, please. And we'll, here's my, and that is a difficulty 2, by the way. So you're doing your scans, and per the medical officer's request, you pick up all of a large conglomeration of the Pedra citizens that are outside of the temple. You're able to pick up where the monks are, and briefly you do see that there is emptiness in the temple. However, at some point, another life sign does re-enter the main foyer of the inside of the temple. So it is now
Lieutenant
in fact,
Junior
not
grade,
empty.
I'm getting one reading from within the temple on the main floor.
And
Understood.
you all
It
four
appears to have a
see
strong grip.
the strong grip on your shoulder.
For shoulders and earlobes.
So you guys all beam back into the bridge, or the transporter room. Are you making your way to the bridge?
That's correct. Yeah, we want to all reconvene at the bridge and get all the data in one
So
place.
as you approach the bridge, the commander stands up and straightens his uniform in normal Starfleet fashion. Number one, if you could give me a report.
Who is that?
That's me.
The captain. Number one is.
So,
You said commander before.
okay. Captain, we beamed down to the planet in the early afternoon in a rural area that seemed to be very feudal in nature, but perhaps theocratic as. But many of them walk in solemn, their faces down, obviously depressed after the loss of their artifact from what we discovered inside the temple. What do you mean bullshit? We don't swear on the bridge. Anyway, they look seemingly depressed at their loss of their idol. We took various scans of the ritual altar itself where this apparent idol were to be connected, but that data is still being processed. My Lieutenant Junior grade Andal tried to make his way deeper into the temple, but was caught and escorted outside the temple and reprimanded. No,
We've not damaged the Prime Directive. We've not gone against
Negative.
it, have we? Okay,
negative,
go on.
Captain.
Don't
I think
believe
this
so.
was a civil matter, not a. Sorry, I was just reading Skype. It's a civil matter.
Okay.
Is that just my face, or?
So he kind of looks at you and he paces for a moment, and he says, "So, I'm not sure if our science officer has updated you. We received some issues while on board, while you guys were down on the surface, and the idol seems to have broken through our frequency in the force field, the quarantine force field. So they beamed it out into a area, and they're keeping eyes on it now. Moving forward, so we can leave this planet and make way on our first mission. What are your suggestions?"
I have a question, Captain, Commander. Are we able to scan the basement area underneath that altar, or the area underneath that altar? Could it be a sentient computer, perhaps?
You can always try. Certainly.
Did it work?
A fembot's femputer, perhaps?
Computer. Yeah,
Commander
if that's
Kullat?
something you want to try.
Commander Kullat, do you want to try to scan that?
Just realized you're talking to me, and yes.
Okay.
Scanning.
So, scanning. So from you, I'll need a reason and science, and ship sensors, same thing. Sensors and science. And hold on before you roll. It's a difficulty 4.
I will use Dos Momentos. Por favor.
Do you want?
Nice!
And that was what from the ship? sensors and
Sensors and science.
Oh, come on, man. That's excellent.
So, what are you doing?
Nice.
I will use 2 of those for extra information, and 1 of them I'll bank back
Okay.
for better understanding of what it is that lives on the floor below.
So you've all seen Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom, right? When they're in the mine. No, I'm just kidding. So, as the sensors sense and scan, it takes a little bit of work, and this is mainly due to the dense rock structure that seems to be what this temple was made out of. And as you break through it, you do see a lot of technical work or technical schematics that might resemble something that doesn't belong there, but also the specifications seem to match what the idol is made out of or has internally.
My scans are showing that there's a large cache of technology that vastly surpasses the surrounding area. It does seem to align with the technology that the idol was made out of.
Could we have a situation here, Commander, of civilization regression, perhaps? That they, due to some cataclysmic occurrence, lost certain knowledge?
Would it be possible to scan the planet and find traces if that were the case?
Certainly.
Didn't we do that originally?
You did.
We did look for similar trace elements, but if they've come to this planet and brought those trace elements with them, we wouldn't necessarily find the materials they used to construct this equipment. Correct?
Commander, that does make sense to me. Commander Kullat, was there any life forms that you found down below? Only technology?
Admiral, were there any life forms?
No, sir.
That's a negative, Lieutenant. Junior grade.
You did pick up somebody saying, that's all. It was supposed to be a joke from aliens for Sev. I failed. I failed to deliver.
Did pick up on a small
But if I may,
of a Kali Ma and a Shakti.
But if I may, I've reversed my earlier opinion, and I think that would probably benefit us and potentially this populace if we just beamed that statue back into its what is obviously its place of origin.
And the captain kind of nods his head when you say that. He says, Lieutenant Commander, I agree with you. And while this might be a future mission to look into, perhaps, I think right now best is to return what is rightfully theirs and then reapproach the subject at a later time. Commander, your thoughts? Maricadi.
I think that's appropriate, yeah.
Totes
Not sure if we can be conclusive about much right now, but are we responsible? If this is, the case of civilization regression, what do we do, Captain? Is that our jurisdiction to intervene?
Prime Directive states that we don't involve ourselves. more than we
Very
have to. With this kind of fell into our laps. Wouldn't you agree, Gregory? I think
Absolutely.
Post warp, not pre warp, right?
pre-warp, sir. I feel that.
But if they regress, they could be post warp.
That is true, Commander. But from our observations, we've only seen anything that resembles something pre-warp. While there may be technology that's connected to this idol that we've come into property of, we don't know anything else after that. And right now we need to act on what we know. Does that seem logical?
Highly.
I'd say so, Captain.
Okay. So, Commander, what are your thoughts here? We have about 20 hours left till we need to embark on our mission.
Well, we need to make sure that that artifact is going to be secured regardless. I believe we beamed it down to a isolated location.
That is correct, Commander.
Right, so I think our best bet at the end of the day is to return this artifact and move on. So, because that's an isolated position, are we able to planet transfer something? Is that within our equipment parameters?
It is. That's what you want to do.
Very well. So, within that regard, to keep as little influence as possible, we wait for life signs to vacate the temple, and we attempt to beam the artifact directly into its former slot.
Okay.
If you need something from us to at most accurately make this possible, at least I'm able to get into the temple. And I look at Andal. So whatever I can do to assist or call any targets per se, to get this as effectively as possible, because this is a wave one shot. We're not trying to. If someone spots this transporter, I mean, yes, they can assume they're God, but it's us, and at that point, we violated the Prime Directive.
Well, possibly we would just wait until this evening, planetary time, and just beam that puppy in there.
Absolutely.
So is that what you want to do? Wait till the evening and try and time it to where somebody is outside of there, so there's nobody inside?
We had established in our last session that there was the occasional period of non-occupancy in the temple during their patrols. So presumably, we just need to stand by for one of those. I go down to the transporter room and prepare myself.
Cool.
Okay. So, I'll bring the bells back for you. How's that? Ready? Go. Give me the sound. Give me the sound, Andorian. Okay, so then you're gonna wait for evening. I guess I'm gonna need to hear from everybody what they're doing and how they're doing this, and who's doing what.
Watching the sensors to alert to when there's no life signs. First floor temple.
I'm there helping navigate and isolate the locations within my knowledge of what was there, and triangulating it. There we go. To those locations.
And Commander Kullat, if possible, it might be interesting to take some readings of what happens environmentally, locally, once the idol is returned. onto that spot. I for one, very curious to see if there's any sort of reaction from the machinery under the building.
Agreed, Lieutenant Commander. Quite curious.
Okay. So, Kullat is going to be watching his sensors, correct? To time this out properly. Okay. And who's going to be operating the transporter?
I'll do it if no one else wants to.
That's you, man. I think you're the expert.
Okay. So, real quick, there will be 2 roles. Our gentleman on the sensors, our science officer, you're going to be doing your normal role, your reason and science, and we're going to change this other... nope, we're going to stick with it. Reason and science and sensors and science.
And I do want to help him here as well. With the feed I picked up, call out targets, which basically generates a free momentum when I'm assisting.
So are you calling out people?
It's not. So it's called to call out targets, but it's purely in a skill challenge when I'm assisting someone. I get a free momentum to use, a bonus momentum. So in this case, by targets that I'm calling out, it was me triangulating those locations for the transponder. Like I'm locking on to where the artifact is with his help, or helping him rather, and then triangulating it onto the altar itself, so they get as precise as possible.
Like a forward observer, presumably.
Okay, so...
I'm scanning. He's doing the transport.
Yeah, so you're going to have to pick one or the other. You're helping Kullat, or you're helping Kaval.
Okay, I'm helping Kaval then, yes.
Okay.
Kullat's got it. He gets paid enough for that.
Okay, so Kaval, you're going to do your reason and science, sensors and science. Those are going to be at your normal difficulty 2. So we'll start with that.
Wait, did you mean Kullat, or did you say... Okay.
Yeah, because we're going to do it in order, because he's watching
Kaval.
for people
Yeah.
first.
Totally
So I
fine.
assume you guys are trying to time it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Trace.
Okay, so you're watching the temple, and you see a Pedra citizen, probably the monk, enter inside, and eventually they do make their way out, and the temple is empty.
Spring the trap!
Spring the trap!
So, we'll go to Kaval.
Difficulty
What we're
level?
gonna say again, your last over.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Where did my thing go here? There it is. All right, so you're going to be doing control and engineering, and before
Check.
you roll it,
Use all the momentum.
it is going to be a difficulty of 3. Your complication range is 3, but I'm going to now spend 2 threat to make that complication range 4.
Well, that's not very neighborly.
So, from you, I'll need control and engineering, and whoever's doing the ship assist, do me sensors and engineering.
Now,
Am I assisting as well with this? Or do
Yeah,
my ship
you're
assisting?
assisting Kaval, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
mhm.
so then that what gives him an extra momentum? Is that what you were saying?
Yeah. So I get my assist roll, I believe, right? I get to roll a dice, and then furthermore, he gets a free momentum to use on this roll.
Oh, okay, so
So-
it's twofold.
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Well,
How many-
you can assist anyway, right? In this game, just like Conan.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, I just get I mean, either way, everyone can assist on something like that. But then I get to give him a momentum. That's where the talent is.
Okay.
Is I give him a free momentum.
so
Okay.
how many dice am I using?
So right now with your base roll, Kaval, it's 2 regular challenge dice, unless you're spending the momentum that the commander's giving you.
Yes.
Okay. So
That would make
then,
sense.
are you going to use it to an extra dice?
Yes. Extra
Okay.
dice.
So then your current dice roll will be with 3 dice Okay.
Okay. And determination value, is that? What's that? Does that come into play?
No, you're not using. You weren't going to use.
Oh, okay.
No,
I get
if
it.
you have a focus that might play an effect, you might want to use
Yes, that I've got.
Okay.
that I've got.
So did you check the box?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Is your complication range 4?
Yes, it is.
Can momentum be spent to decrease complication range?
Let me see. Yes, it can.
Well, we should have 8 or more momentum. So I'd recommend decreasing that and then maybe spending another on a die or something, maybe. If we can do, or just add 2 spends and it doesn't count.
Sorry, no, I was just rereading it. It has to do with a complication on a roll.
Oh, okay.
So no, you cannot.
Okay. All right. Then I'm rolling dice.
Okay. And then from the commander, you're going to make the same roll he is. So that's
Control and engineering.
control and engineering.
Okay. 3
And then
successes.
also make me the ship assist as well.
You want me to do the ship assist?
Yes.
What's the ship assist?
The ship assist is also, make sure you change the complication range, Commander, to 4. And then the ship assist is, sensors and engineering, sorry.
I have it up if you want me to do it.
Please do, thank you.
Well, now we can
2
spend
momentum?
2 momentum.
There you go. Okay, so you're spending the 2 momentum on that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oops.
I think so.
Okay.
I feel like
So
Doug
I'll explain to you what happens.
I feel like Severian today.
And you guys can act this part out. Kullat, you are maintaining eyes on the situation,
Prize.
and you're able to let them know when it is empty to vacate. Lieutenant Commander Kaval and Commander Maricadi with the assist. Kaval, you are able to transport that idol. While in transport, the transporter buffers start to malfunction, and you start to lose control of the idol itself. With the commander at your side assisting you, you are able to regain control of the pattern buffers, and it materializes right where it should on the altar, in the little spot that you guys observed when you were first there. You guys can act this part out.
No.
Keep it together. Those grunts aren't going to help.
It has landed. The eagle has landed.
Oh, you had me for a second there.
Commander
Great.
Kullat.
Great.
Any reaction?
I'm straining the sensors.
So-
Highest amplitudes
Highest amplitudes,
for the greatest veracity.
the greatest veracity. Your roll again,
informations.
reason and science, sensors and science. Difficulty 2. So, as the idol beams down, I'll shut up. What are you doing with that? Anything? More momentum?
Extra
Nothing.
information.
Extra information?
Greater scanning.
So what happens when you beam it is
I want to know on a molecular level.
a molecular level. It melds with the altar and it blows up. So the altar, or the idol, it beams in, and once it beams in, there seems to be almost like a switch was turned on. With the sensors on, you noticed there's an object in the room that starts to emanate those same idle waves, but on a much grander scale. And in that scale, it matches the cityscape, the perimeter of the city that you guys first found. It matches that in exact size. And as you're doing that, you're also getting strong readings from beneath the structure itself, almost as if it's a technology, but antiquated in nature. And also it comes off as if something, like it could be maybe a structure, or it could be something space capable, like a ship. But from those sensors, and you only get that briefly. And at one point, once you start to try and get more, the scans kind of cut out, and you're not able to get anything else in the basement. But you still get the same readings on the above ground from within that seems to amplify the signal from the idol.
So I'm scanning all that, and they're all waiting patiently, and I just say, interesting. Well, I'm just trained on my instrumentation.
Okay.
Thank God that's over with. Jeez.
The captain turns around and goes, "Commander, would you care to elaborate?"
I thought one of these guys would ask. I'm suddenly...
The captain's not annoyed or frustrated, but he is kind of like...
Yeah, so when I'm looking at it, I'm like, interesting. And when the captain finally reacts, it's like I'm snapped out of, I was just so hyper-focused, and then I relay the details of what you just said. There was enough of it that I won't reenact it, but... I give a stoic, scientific description of everything you just said.
Mission accomplished?
I would say at this time, Commander, perhaps we can circle back and maybe do a little investigating when the time allows. What do you guys say?
Well, before you turn it off, can we just leave the feed open until we see someone discover it? I love this part.
The feed? You referring to the probe?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. So, once it's placed and the device seems to activate, and the glowing glows more, and the bells start to go off, they go off in different tones than what you were hearing earlier. They almost sound harmonious and energetic. The two monks that were on the outside, they rush in and they run up to the altar, and they stand there in disbelief, and they continue to look at each other like, where did this come from? And the one has him on the other shoulder, and the one starts to weep, and they pull themselves outside. And once they're outside, you hear one of them say, "Perhaps that was what we observed in the sky. It was returned to us." And he kind of nods, and those sensor readings that you get before the ship pulls away, it seems to affect the entire village. From what you can tell from where the probe is, a different atmosphere is now being generated. One of hope, one of desire, one of future, of growth. And you do start to detect readings, mainly and this is strange for you, this is all in the field area where they seem to have been growing maybe crops or things like that. But it seems that the bacteria that was not there before is starting to find its way back. There we are.
That's beautiful, man.
Mission accomplished indeed.
Anything else?
They all look like ants from up here.
The more difficult the task, the sweeter the victory.
Okay. So before you guys leave, the captain calls you all to his ready room. And
Ooh, wait, I've got something.
yes.
Can we leave a probe in orbit to gather information while we're away?
You can, yes. That's not going to require a roll. That'll be pretty easy for you.
I pressed that button.
The warp core is ejected.
Oh dear, what?
And I laugh maniacally as we explode.
So, the commander calls you into the ready room, all of you. And he asks you to have a seat. In front of him is a cup of Kathee, which is the Andorian form of coffee. And once you're all
Kathee?
seated, Kafifi? No, Kathee. And as you are all sitting there, he kind of folds his hands. And where did my screen go? Hip hop. Go. Nice. Continue. There we go. Okay, very nice. Okay, so he's sitting there, and he says, "Gentlemen, now that our escapade has been dealt with, we've received orders to head to the Takara system. The mission is delicate enough to be classified as secret. Command eyes only. What I can say is we are to meet with a Dr. Jabrin. He's the lead scientist we'll be working with. Our orders are to help supervise the field test of a new and improved quantum torpedo that Jabrin and his team are currently developing. Starfleet intelligence has concerns that with the Romulan border less than 20 light years from Takara, they may know about or possibly intend to steal the device. The crew is expected to be on alert and provide whatever security measures are needed to ensure no one gains access to the potential weapon, especially the Romulans. It can't be stressed enough that the Federation does not want them to have access to something that could conceivably affect the balance of power in the quadrant."
Okay, thank you, Captain. Where was the, who was in current control of the quantum torpedoes?
It is an alien race known as the Takarans.
Takarans. Okay.
What's so unique about these torpedoes?
We are told that it's some sort of new and improved quantum torpedo. That is all the information Starfleet Command has given me at this time. They've stressed that the secrecy and protection of this mission be top priority for us. My guess is they didn't want to say too much via our communications, and stated that we would learn more once we are on the planet and meet with this lead scientist.
Well, when do we meet them?
He kind of looks over at Zemp. Zemp? Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
And take us away. And that's where we're going to stop. Since he's Conn, he can fly us there. And that is where we'll stop. And we'll start with our commander, Commander Maricadi. Your thoughts on your previous mission, how your team handled it, and then what the future mission might be having thoughts on, what you might have on your future mission.
Right. So for this last mission, I think we all had our own little spot to sort of fill in the gaps where everyone else was lacking. I'm getting the Tony weird face now. Is my face weird?
It's breaking up pixels. Looks good on stream, but
weird. That's good.
Skype.
Anyway, the mission was a success. We returned the artifact back. We didn't cause any issues with the Prime Directive. Nobody got left behind. So, all in all, great work. Although this mission was thrusted upon us, so I'm excited to get into a mission that's more, Starfleet oriented and organized, whereas we kind of did our own ragtag little adventure. That was fun. But that's where it leads me to the next mission, where now it's going to be a little more organized. This is actually a big threat, whereas on one side of the coin you have the Prime Directive being the worst case scenario, which is pretty bad, don't get me wrong, but versus quantum torpedoes. I mean, I don't like the sound of that. I'll tell you what. So let's see where the next mission leads us.
Okay. And Commander Kullat, kitty tail on the screen.
Commander Kullat Kitty Tail is he would, if time allowed, spend more time investigating what this field is, what this technology is. However, he understands not having attachments. He left behind the probe to gather information while he's not around, and is now setting his sights on figuring out these torpedoes.
These torpedoes?
Torpedoes.
And any thoughts about this? Disregard. Never mind. Lieutenant Commander Zemp. Sir, your thoughts?
Despite some bumps in the road with our Lieutenant Commander Andal Grax in the temple, it was mostly a very smooth mission. Everyone did their jobs accordingly, and I couldn't ask for a better bridge crew. Now, I'm not very nervous at all about this upcoming mission. I believe that we have everything covered, and I have all the confidence in the world that we will be successful.
Lieutenant Commander Caval.
I find my estimation of Commander Kullat to have grown significantly during this mission. Albeit he is Vulcan, he is very capable, and came close to matching me in technical expertise, and I applaud him for that. I look forward to this oncoming mission. I haven't had good experience recently with torpedoes, but I'm hoping to rectify that going forward. And I will be scheduling a rotating training schedule for my engineering crew to discuss location of release valves and the command chain and proper address of superior officers.
That might be good. So
That's funny.
You can leave engineering and have the confidence that you aren't going to be woke up in the middle of the night. and bothered by something that they should know how to do.
Agreed.
Lieutenant, junior grade, Andal. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Andal is just glad that there weren't more consequences for getting caught trying to go down those steps. Just constantly, probably right now, thinking about, how is he in trouble, that sort of thing, because he's newer to Starfleet and is over eager to prove himself to try and get as much, information as possible, and doesn't want to so early on do something as bad as violate the Prime Directive or just embarrass himself in front of all these senior officers.
And with that, we end There's No Such Thing as a Free Lunch. You guys enjoyed that one. That was a fun one to do. Later this week with Tabletop Anthologies, we have Curse of Strahd Friday at 8 p.m., correct, Commander?
Yes, we do.
And on Sunday at 7 p.m., we have Descent to Avernus. And upcoming, Judge Wolf is working on an alien scenario, cinematic, where all the players are going to have their own agendas. So as we leave the end of our previous scenario and we go into our new scenario, which you heard a small brief on. And the title of this one is That Which is Unknown. So we leave you with that. We're going to head out with a raid. We appreciate everybody that hung out and watched. Live long and prosper.